Welcome to the Hotchkiss Flower Farm. Today I'm going to show you how I remedy a problem that occurs with growing brassicas. And, brassicas are really challenging, especially cabbage like what I'm growing here. I typically grow flowers, but I am growing cabbage as well. And most of our crops that are cut flowers are actually brassicas. So they also get affected by insects. So it's really important that I do this. So today what I'm using is a refractometer. And a refractometer, basically, it takes liquid from the leaf structure. Like when you squeeze it out in a garlic press, you put the liquid on the little screen there, and then when you look through it, you're able to see what solids are in there by how it refracts. And so this will tell us if the glucose is cycling. So we want the glucose to be cycling in the plant because that makes it pest resistant. So let's take a look and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So you'll see a line that means that there's a very defined line between blue and white. Now that should be a very gradient line, and if it's a gradient line, that means that the calcium is cycling, which means that there is resistance. The number should also be, the white should be always up at that number 10 level when you're doing it in the middle of the day. Now, however, because it's low, I'm looking outside because I want to see if there's a storm coming. Most people don't know this about plants, but if there's a storm coming that has hail in it or a frost coming, they put their energy that's in their leaves in the roots of the plant in case they suffer any damage, so they have energy in the roots to rebuild. That Brix level is low, so I need to make sure that those pests are not going to start nibbling on those brassica leaves. But for right now, the cabbages look pretty good and I want it to stay that way. So I made sure I really hydrated them. They are grown in a worm casting soil blend, and I'm also checking the ones in the ground. These have all been amended with a worm casting, and you can see that some of them do have issues, but I also need to address, am I shading them out too much with my shade cloth? Are they getting enough sun to produce sugars? So when you're growing organically, especially when you're using live soil like I am with the worm castings, you can tell like these plants were store-bought plants. I bought them. They were in trays and they suffered. They're frost sensitive and they suffered the frost just like these ones. They were all the same temperature, and you can tell the ones that were grown in soil that had microbiome in the soil that supported the plant health, they didn't get any damage on them. Even the ones that were outside, they're in a soil that is living soil that is made with the worm castings, and it's the Prime Organic Plus by Annalita that I'm using in these pots. But you could tell that they didn't suffer the damage like the ones that were in the trays did from the frost sensitivity because they have a higher Brix reading. And it's just the way that, it's how it is. So there's two things I'm going to do today. I am going to reach for my foliar spray, which is basically a worm tea. It's made out of a extract from worm castings. And worm castings have really important microbes in their gut to actually create a healthy micro system in your soil and on your plant. So the plant needs to be able to exchange the sugar with the microbes, and that's the relationship they need to have, and this will help with that. And also I believe that there is a little bit of fulvic in here so that it will prevent the Brix from dropping it any lower and putting it at risk. It'll hold it there so that it can recover a little bit as I'm doing what I need to do. So basically, I just have my little hand pump sprayer and I'm spraying it. One of the things that I find with cabbage leaves is when you're spraying directly on a cabbage leaf, the top side of them will have almost like a waxy, dropped you. They have a little bit of a waxy coating on them. So you sometimes have to just spray on the bottom side, which can be a little bit more effective. And that's where a lot of the pests are anyways. But this isn't a pesticide. This is a food for the microbes on the plants so that it helps them recover from whatever stressors that they were at to help improve their Brix level, which keeps that pest resistance up and keeps them able to cycle those nutrients from the leaves to the roots. If the Brix is lower in the afternoon than it is in the morning, one of the things that the Brix is the refractometer reading that we just took. So when that's lower in the afternoon, sometimes that means that there is a deficiency in boron, which is preventing the nutrients or the sugars going from the roots down into the roots, because it's like a doorway that allows those sugars to pass through into the roots. So I want to make sure that I haven't been over diluting, like running too much water through this tower, causing all that a boron deficiency by overwatering it from the top. So that's something I also wanted to add with having the heavily loaded fertilizer of the organic soil amendment that I'm using. So I'll show you what that looks like here. I sell it in the 40-liter bags. I'm not making this video because I sell it. I'm making it because this is what I use to remedy this. But this is Gold Soil Blend Plus. It has all of the amendments in it, and I'm just going to add handfuls of that around some of the plants. I might actually just put a layer in, just take this, kind of unstack it and put a layer on each of the top layers for sure. As I water from the top of it and it runs down, it definitely dilutes. So the nutrients that are at the top end up more so at the bottom. So I hope this was somewhat helpful to you, and if you are interested in learning more about how I do this on the farm, let me know. Thanks for watching.